No, I'm
He's
a
the
volunteer.
You can lobby a few, but he's the...
Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that dial. We have two interesting personalities and it's, it's great that I have them on. Really, it's been a long time getting you here, but you're always tied up over there. So, but I really appreciate you coming here, and also your right hand girl, right? We call it what that called. You work as a team. But we have a theme song for this show, and it's called "Oh, I Wish I Had Wings of an Angel." Over these prison bars I would fly, and I'd fly to the arms of my darling. Now, the reason why I sing that song is because we have Warden from Montgomery County. Here he is, and tell me who you are. Okay, tell me something about yourself.
My name is Julio Algarin. I'm the warden of the Montgomery County Correctional Facility. I've been employed in corrections probably about 34 years now, Hank. And I came up the ranks. I started as a correctional officer and appointed to a sergeant, lieutenant, captain.
You're right on up, right up the line there, right?
I came from the lines, yes, sir.
Okay, now, who you and what are you here for?
My name is Wendy Demchick-Alloy, and I am here because you invited me here as a prison board inspector. I work with Julio Algarin, Warden
that's
Algarin.
Good, that's why I wanted, because sometimes the warden will say, well, that's the prison board. So this way there might be some questions or something you want to just add to. So this is a conversation. I want people to know something about the workings of the prison here in Montgomery County. So, and then I noticed as soon as you sat down here, you said the flag here. Veteran warden, you're also a veteran of the United States Marine Corps.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Proudly,
so
yes,
you
sir.
spotted that flag right off the bat,
Right away, it stands out.
All right, so tell me something about now a prison in Montgomery County, okay? I'm a former county detective, and I had the opportunity to travel, pick up prisoners in different parts, Dallas, Texas, Tennessee. Marion, Illinois was one of the real fancy one there. That's where the top shelf, I think, when they closed out the trash, right?
Correct.
And but I can, Montgomery County is one of the best prisons, run, okay, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure a lot of other people. And I know my good friend Tom Frame, who was warden at the Chester County, I used to kid him, he said, the prison has no odor because they used to freeze the garbage and you wouldn't smell it. It's a good idea, okay? So, all right, but tell me now, how many what do we call visitors, or do you want to call them residents, do you have in the prison?
As of today, we have 1,679.
1,600?
That's correct.
Oh my God, I never think that many. The prison in Norristown never held that many, did it?
When I started in 1974, that prison was crowded at 220.
How many?
220.
Wow. Oh my God, and it was jammed. So now you have 60, I can't believe, oh my God. And okay, now how about, to have 16 residents, how many employees you got?
319 employees.
How many?
319, 245 uniformed.
Okay. Now, what is it, a board, a prison board of inspectors? What's their function?
Our function is to work with the administration of the jail to make sure things are running smoothly. We help review their budget. We help with issues that come up from day to day. We meet once a month at the jail, second Thursday of every month, to review, again, the budget with the warden and his administrative staff. We also, each of us, divide throughout the jail and go through pods of the jail. So each month, me and my fellow prison board inspectors walk through the jail with a clipboard and a pen, and we talk to the inmates at their cells.
They got any complaints or something?
Overwhelmingly, they don't. And there are
that.
many times that I walk through the jail, and this has been a very new experience for me, being a DA for over 19 years. For the last 3 years, I've been director of Montgomery Child Advocacy Project, but when I was a DA, I never talked to the defendants,
Yeah,
ever,
right,
on the
right.
other side of the courtroom.
yeah,
But
yeah,
now,
it's-
as a prison board inspector, I walk through
Right.
the jail with the correctional staff, and I talk to the inmates, and it's been very eye-opening for me to hear their issues. I mean, some of them are talking about their cases, and I tell them, don't talk to me about
Right.
your cases. But
Well, that's-
others have some basic requests, like, hygiene needs,
It's good
questions.
to oversee that. In other words, gives him an opportunity to do his job as far as warden, because you 300 employees or so?
345.
Taking care of 300 employees, you got your sergeants, your captains, let me tell you, I'm a former policeman. I know what it is within the ranks and keeping everybody happy.
Many
and
times
keeping them to do their job.
the inmates will talk about the warden and his staff in a really positive way.
Right.
And they will give compliments, they'll ask me to extend thanks, they'll give positive reviews about the correctional
Right.
facility, which I think speaks volumes, because they're the non-paying customers in there.
What are what's your biggest problem?
Oh, before you go,
As a warden.
you have to realize that our prison board is unique in the Commonwealth. They're the only prison board that I'm aware of, that actually enters the prison on a monthly basis and speaks to every single inmate. And any concerns,
Get
be
the
it
grassroots feeling.
positive or negative, we have to respond to the board before the next inspection in writing.
Right.
So actually, not for us. We have actually a waiting list.
No kidding.
Yes, sir.
How
Montgomery
about
County
that?
treats its
I
employees pretty well.
It would be, right, how about that? And, all right, so somebody gets arrested and he's sentenced. I'm not talking about a temporary thing or out on bail or something, or, what rights does he lose? Like say let's say he gets arrested in September and the November election. Can he vote? Can the party go in there with an absentee ballot or something? Or
If he gets sentenced, he cannot vote. If he's waiting trial, which most of our inmates are, they still have the right to vote because they haven't been convicted.
if he's waiting. All right, let's say he's convicted now.
He-
Goodbye.
Depending if it's a felony, then he won't be able to vote.
Felony, he loses his rights to vote.
Correct.
How about that?
Now, a lot of people don't understand that every crime that's committed in Montgomery County, set aside the federal charge, every crime that's committed in Montgomery County goes first through Montgomery County Correctional Facility.
Goes there, right? Well, okay. Now, okay. So now, a buddy of mine is in jail. We'll say a buddy. I'm using that. I want to go visit him, but I'm just a friend. Can I go see him?
Only if that individual places you on his visiting list.
Oh.
He must place you on the visiting list.
In other words, if I'd have to send him a letter telling him to put my name on
And if he's really a good friend, he may call you by telephone.
a telephone.
Yes.
Can he make phone calls?
Collect calls. They pay for them.
Are they somebody listening to make sure that they
We
don't-
do monitor every single phone call
Every
except
phone call.
attorney calls.
What do you mean, you tape it and then,
Oh, yes,
and so that guy's not planning something?
exactly. It's a prison, and security is our main concern, and safety.
Oh, okay. So in other words, he has access to the telephone.
They have access to the telephone unless they're in
Is there
max
certain hours?
4 sessions a day. They're allowed to have half-hour calls within those sessions.
Half hour. You can
Correct.
talk a half hour. Okay. Now, visiting. Let's say a married man is arrested. His wife wants to come and see him. How close can she get to him? Can you kiss him?
Upon entering and meeting, you're allowed to kiss and embrace, sit down at the table, hands on top of the table.
And that's it.
That's it.
I was over at, had to pick up a prisoner way up in Pennsylvania. There's a federal prison.
Ellenwood?
Yeah. And they had guys with nice gabardine shirts and jackets and tennis and the whole little bit. And they mingled and the whole bit, walking around. Now, there's some prisons that allow the husband and wife to meet, go to bed.
No,
Is that-
not in Montgomery County.
Some prisons
That's here.
don't happen in the United States.
No,
It's
they
not
happen in
happening
Montgomery County.
No, I know it don't happen, but don't happen here.
It doesn't happen here.
But they say that's one of the things. The guy says, well, that way we don't have any sexual problems and all. But I don't know if that would That don't work, right?
No, not in Montgomery County.
Right, okay. Okay, how about now, you have over 300, a budget, quanta, money. That's big. Now what are you talking about?
Our budget, we run a tight budget, and of course our board oversees our budget, and we report every
That's
monthly.
what you do.
That's part of
okay.
what we do.
Good.
Every
okay.
single penny that we spend, they review. And we've held our budget down considerably in the last few years. We've run a tight budget, $27 million. Now, within 7-county region here in Pennsylvania, this part of Pennsylvania, you probably have a $350 million budget total. And that's Bucks County, Berks County, Lehigh County, Chester County. We spend a lot of money on inmates. We fortunately have $27 million operational budget. And that includes salaries and everything else.
The whole bit.
Yes, sir. It's a tight budget.
Has anybody ever escaped?
Unfortunately,
Not from the I mean, like maybe, I'm not talking about a work release thing, but out of the prison itself.
yes, 2 people.
Yeah. They
One-
catch them?
Yes, we caught one right away because of the barbed wire. He was cut early, and
Wait, what did he do?
he went over the barbed wire, and the barbed wire grabbed him.
that razor? Okay.
Right,
He
and
went
was
through there.
cut. He had about 33 stitches.
Wow.
So he was bleeding, and lucky it was cold outside because it stopped some of the bleeding, slowed some of the bleeding down.
Followed.
Exactly. So he was caught, and one other gentleman, when we first opened up, he escaped, and he was later caught in Virginia. So,
And he was caught in Virginia.
correct.
Wow. How did they make? There was a chief, a state policeman and myself. We had to go to pick up a prisoner who escaped from Gradersford. I think he was one of the very few that went over the top.
Okay.
And he was mean. And we had an airplane. We had to, when you take a prisoner back, you put the prisoner close to the window, and then 2 of us sit there, like 3. And he was mean. I said, well, I want to get conversation. You know, we're from Chicago, you know, Illinois. And he says, I don't want to talk to you. Okay. I said, we got a couple hours here, well, you know. And I said, you know, you're the first guy that ever went over the wall. Yeah. I said, look, I don't want to talk to you. He said, you're real mean, you know. And so finally I says, well, okay. But I want to find out how he went over. I said, you know what? If you were smart, you could write a book. You're the only guy that went over that wall. He turned around and said, no kidding. He told me how he got out. He said that the guards were on strike or something, and he said that they had a rope and got some stones and put stocking, got it, threw it over there, climbed up and went over.
Oh, well, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and all that. Well, that's all they do, just sit there and.
Correct.
And how are you going to get out? That same thing the warden in Marion, Illinois was saying. That's all they do, just playing. Like the one guy was an electronic guy. He worked something with all the doors opened up, you know, because everything here is like electronic, you know. So all right, now, you worked in Norristown prison.
Correct. I started in Norristown.
And that, they were talking about doing a movie there that they're going to make a butterfly museum out of it or do a movie. That wouldn't make a good movie, wouldn't it?
If the old prison can handle it, right now it's just falling apart.
It's going, yeah.
You know, you have paint coming off the walls, and it's just deteriorated.
I had an opportunity to get down into the hole. They call the hole down there.
Correct.
Oh my own. that was
It's
really
very cool.
bad. Yeah. They don't do that no more now.
No, we don't do that.
All right, tell me. What's so interesting with this? You like what you're doing. You sound like
do.
you like what you're doing.
I love it in there. I go to the jail, and it's not only a very eye-opening experience every time I go. The people that I deal with, whether it's Warden Algarin or his administrative staff, the other deputy wardens, whether it's Deputy Warden Fry or Deputy Warden Bucci, or any number of people that I work with in a day in the actual boardroom, which is adjacent to the warden's office, or going through the prison itself, dealing with the correctional staff, or even talking to the inmates. For me, as a former DA,
Right.
in 2 counties and 4 administrations, first of all, I've never seen a jail run like this, and I've been in many jails.
That's right.
To talk to witnesses or have my witnesses transferred to other jails and visit them there and deal with administration and staff in other jails. So for me, it's wonderful to be a part of it. And also, it's very, again, as I said before, very eye-opening as a former prosecutor to see the inmates in a different light. I'm not
Right.
saying that there are those that are very dangerous and need to be salted away forever.
yeah, right.
But there are people in there that clearly have life problems, and Warden and I have talked about this with other members of the
To be
prison
able-
board that need help.
Right.
Whether it's drug addiction,
Right.
alcoholism, mental illness, a myriad of problems
Right, you're
that
right.
take up a
Montgomery
lot
County
of the
is meeting every-
population in there.
Right, Montgomery County's meeting, the same thing, we have the drug court with Judge
Yes.
O'Neill.
Fantastic.
You know, that's looking at things at different, looking at some things the same, you don't use the same paintbrush with everything, you know. But, okay, how about work release? Now, guy gets in there and he's not a real bad guy, but he goofed up somehow, he got drunk or whatever, you know, he did something. So they put him on work, that's how that works, I guess, that's up, the judge, who makes that decision whether he goes to work release?
The judge recommends work release. We approve work release. And we usually go by...
Wait. He recommends it?
He recommends at
He
time of
recommends it,
sentencing.
and then you, after you've been there, he has to be there for a while, and you can observe what kind of guy he is before you can go.
Not really. I mean,
No?
if he comes in a week and he's been out on bail, he goes to court, he was sentenced, and the judge feels that this individual has a
okay.
job and can support his family, and then we do the interviewing and then we send him.
That's like you do a background check before, the judge will ask for a background check before he goes to
Similar,
jail.
exactly.
Yes.
So you have a profile on him.
We have
Oh,
a
I
pretty
see,
good
okay.
reasons that the judge has made this
Yeah,
person
because the judge
qualified.
don't know what,
Yeah, they were turned over
oh,
one
wait a minute. They work, right? They work on a regular job.
regular job, just maybe interviewing people, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
And they turn over their checks to the prison,
Oh, okay.
fines and costs, support to family, and room and board.
While he's in there.
Yes, sir.
So really, it's not a total loss as far as the family's concerned.
No,
You know,
last
they're the
year-
ones that suffer when somebody,
Yeah,
you know,
last year
right?
they turned over $1.8 million for support to their families. And room and board, it was probably almost close to $1 million. So it's almost, we're not really paying for their incarceration.
Now, they have to find their own way to and from the job, or the owner of the
Well, we have public
boss.
transportation. Some employers pick them up. Some of them have cars, but they have to meet our criteria.
they
Insurance,
can use their own car?
insurance, valid driver's license, and a properly registered vehicle, and make sure that they're not DUI offenders.
There's also a bus stop right at the jail.
Right at the jail.
So
Oh,
the
okay.
bus pick
In other
the-
words,
some of
okay.
the defendants, some of the inmates take the bus right from the jail and then go out to their jobs.
Yeah, I remember a couple diners had some guys dishwashers, and
Correct.
they worked. The bus stopped in front of the diner, and he'd go to work. You know.
We have trash people that work in the trash trucks. We have people, doctors. We have engineers. We have professional people.
Right.
We have people that work in restaurants. We have people that work in landscaping. Most of the employers, that work in Montgomery County or employ in Montgomery County.
Can an employer touch base with you that they need some workers, or how does that work?
Absolutely. Just contact Deputy Warden Anthony Bucci.
Oh, in other words, if I need some help, I can contact the warden. One of
Deputy
your
Warden Anthony
assistants,
Bucci.
Okay.
It all depends how long. Do you need them seasonally? Can you provide, a
I don't
salary?
think a lot of people know that, really. They go to the employment agency or so. They're looking for help.
Yeah, we have a lot of help.
Yeah.
Waiting.
I remember, because of my police background, a friend of mine needed some blood, and I think it was Warden Roth, I think it was at
Good
the
man.
time. And they needed, how many pints of blood he needed. So I asked him, and they got some prisoners that they had to check them, to check their blood was good, And do they still do that?
No, they don't do that. Times have really changed since then. We have, of course, the HIV concern. We have the hepatitis concern. And remember, most of the people that are incarcerated for drug offenses or alcohol, so their bodies have taken some abuse.
That, in other words, you're taking a chance.
Correct.
Taking a chance. How many people on your board you're working with?
6.
Correct.
We have the president of the board, who's
All right,
Nancy,
who's
Nancy
some of the people?
McFarland.
Who are some of the people?
Nancy McFarland is president. I'm her vice
What's her
president.
background?
She works in the clerk of court's office in the county courthouse in
Right.
Montgomery County. Then there's me. I'm vice president of the board. I'm a former DA, and as I said, now I'm director of a nonprofit called Montgomery Child Advocacy Project.
Right.
There's a few others on the board that own businesses.
Jude Pierce.
Jude Pierce, Don Gracia. I think Don's also an East Norton supervisor.
Correct.
Jude's from Norristown.
Ed
Jeff,
Camille.
Jeff Delp, who's recently resigned because he's moved to Florida. He was a former state trooper who had retired. Ed Camille.
State policeman?
Yes,
Correct.
Ed Camille is a psychiatrist. He is a forensic psychiatrist. He's also on the board and brings a very good perspective about mental illness and mental health to the board. I think that's it. Am I right?
Correct. And then we have a secretary, and we have our solicitor, Dick Winters.
Bill McGuire is our
Who's
board
it?
secretary.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
good guy.
Right.
Outstanding.
Wonderful solicitor, Dick Winters.
Great guy, yeah. So, your day as a warden, you're on duty almost all the time.
I have a lot,
I mean,
but it
they're
starts
gonna call
probably,
you every time something happens.
it starts probably about 5 o'clock in the morning and ends probably about 8 o'clock at night. You know, we have a policy, we have an administrator on call 24 hours a day. And if one of our officers gets injured in the line of duty, I require that administrator be at the hospital with that officer. And we try to take care of the needs of the inmate and protect the community safety-wise and protect our staff. So it's a job, but I get a lot of help.
Hank, I also wanted to say in terms of devotion to the warden, the best way to demonstrate the devotion to the warden by the staff at the jail is that every year there's a perfect attendance ceremony in April, and there's over 100 employees just at the jail. That's just one county agency, and it's the prison. Over 100 people have perfect attendance coming to work every year,
How about
some
that?
more than 20 years. And that's a reflection of who's running the place. It's a trickle down
I never-
from the warden on down. That's how happy people are to come to the jail. It's not like they're coming to the Caribbean. They're
Right.
going to the jail every day,
Right.
and they go every day in and day out.
And you're like a people person, you know. You're not kind of 10-foot pole or anything. That's what's good. I mean, you're working, dealing with people, you know, whether they're good or bad, you got to handle them.
I had a good teacher, Warden Roth was a good teacher.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
He's a very
I
good
remember
man.
who was it? It was Riley too. He was the warden there. wasn't he, Riley?
Nayland was a warden.
Who?
Nayland was the warden.
Nayland.
I went back in the history books. There was
Nayland.
there's
I
been
think
16
White
wardens.
wasn't White.
White was a
White.
warden.
Time a guy broken nose. He was the next fighter. You know. I said, he said, I'm out of shape. I said, don't worry about it. I'm rougher in. Okay. So, and they had all the inmates watching. Inmates, you call them still. And so I said, when I break you, I'll turn around here. You throw the overhand right over my shoulder. Pow! He hit him. And now everybody wanted to fight him. You know, he was the nicest guy after that. He didn't want to give anybody a hard time.
Wow.
So, you know, I don't know if you do that anymore now.
No, we don't. We don't
you
do
can't
that.
do that. But you know, it's the old thing before the Miranda and all that stuff. You know? But I remember that they were great. We had a little inside the prison, then we had one outside. See, and I started a boxing program at the prison too with Chuck Stone. Used to write for the Daily News.
Okay.
And we were there setting the ring up, and I hear this one guy hollering, "Cisco, Cisco!" I said, here was a guy from Norristown. He was in the prison hollering from, you know, we were outside. And the warden says, I said, can I say who he is? He brought him over, and he says, you know, if I'd have listened, says, when I was a kid, I stole my first bicycle. He says, I wouldn't be here today. You know, so, but you know, these are experiences, and you know, and your life is full. You do a real good job, and I'm proud. And you know, you got people looking over your shoulder that are helping you.
Good people.
You know, they got their hand on your shoulder helping. That's important, and I feel safe. And I know that recently you've had some real interesting
Battles.
visitors.
And we are
murders
expanding.
And, you know, so I just want to thank you for coming here, and I'm going to get a little memo, a little something here, and it's called thanks for being a guest on the Hank Cisco Show, Comcast Channel 28.
Thank you very much.
And put it in your office. When I come up to your office, I want to see it. Okay.
Appreciate it.
All
It'll be there.
Hey, Wendy, thanks
Thank
a lot.
you, Hank, for having us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope that you know a little bit more about what's going on in our county prison, what your tax money's being used, okay? It's used properly. Got a good man taken care of. We got a good police department, good district attorney's office, good police officers. We got everything. We got a good high school cameraman here, okay? So until we meet again, God bless, and keep bobbing and weaving. Allah salute.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Hank.
Thank you. All right, here's our salute. All right, to your health we go. There we go, Rock. We got over it.